Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the SimZone. We're here for round 4 of the Next Level Racing GT3 Championship, and we are at Kyalami this time around. A very wet Kyalami, in fact, and looks like it's going to be staying like that for the whole of the qualifying session. You see that someone trying to get some heat into the tyres there. Not sure if that's the best way to do so, but coming into this round. We actually have Whitehead leading the championship, no surprise there, on 212 points, back-to-back wins. He's been P1 in all 3 previous rounds. Then we've got Christian Muller in P2 on 189 points, so not far off, in fact. And then P3 we've got Malik Mahmoud on 186 points. Only 3 points separating P2 and P3, very, very close between them. And in fact, P3 is actually tied on points with P4, Sidor, also on 186 points. Tassin in P5 in the championship on 184. Ethan Faulkner in P6 on 178. Hillhorst in P7 on 177. Luke Viken in P8 on 165, Matt Pryor in P9 on 150, and Josh and Canberra in P10 on 147. So it's still all to play for in the championship, and we're only, well, we've still got 3 more rounds to go. There's 7 rounds in this championship. The next races being Suzuka, Laguna Seca, and Indianapolis, so 3 very, very different tracks. They should be quite interesting, some good racing, good tracks for racing as well. Suzuka being one of my favourites, so hope we can have some good racing there as well. But in this qualifying session, it's currently Van Hoorn on, well, not anyone has really put in the time yet, so Van Hoorn, I believe, will be one of the first few to set a valid lap here. Although, let's see, he is coming up towards the final few corners now, and he is on a valid lap actually. Let's see what he can do. The Aston, we know, is a very good car in the wet. Viken's just put, oh, it was on Bridget pole there, but Tassin does a 148.5 here. Just 600ths quicker than Viken, but let's see what Van Hoorn can do as he crosses the line. There we go, crosses the line there with a 149.910. A second off at the moment. But Cano's already up for an improvement. Viken up for an improvement as well. We know the Porsche is a very quick car at Kyalami, and it's pretty good in the wet as well. Mahmoud there puts it on provisional pole, 147.7. The Ferrari, also another good car at this track, and fairly good in the wet as well. Mahmoud obviously had some pace at Nürburgring, but well, stopped prematurely. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe he thought the race was over. He could have definitely been in the top 5, but I think he finished P11 or P10. Can't quite remember. Actually, we can check. He finished, yeah, he finished P10. He's definitely off. Oh, we've got a bit of a bit of a parking lot over there. A few cars off the track, but that's expected. Faulkner in the other Ferrari there puts it into P2. Just shy of 3/10 there from Mohammed on provisional pole. Where is Whitehead, who's still yet to serve, still yet to put in a lap here. He's coming up towards the final few corners now. Here you go, let's see what Whitehead can do. Coming up towards the penultimate corner. Very tricky one with the sausage curb on the inside there. If you clip even that slightly, it can send you flying off into the gravel on the exit. But here we go, Whitehead about to cross the line. What's it going to be? And there we go, P1 for Whitehead, a 146.760 there, nearly 8/10 faster than Sador in P2. And Nufrev, who is racing with us, I believe missed the first 3 rounds, but it's good to see him here for round 4. And we know he's a very capable driver, and in the Aston as well, which is going to help him in the wet. But we'll see what he's able to do. Now, in fact, let's go on board with Whitehead for a lap here. You can see now he's got some traffic in front of him. The spray, though, there's a lot of spray from the car in front. Looks like, I believe that is Van Horn up in front. He is on a lap, so Whitehead's probably going to have to back out of this lap now. There we go, you can see he's going to back off of that lap, give himself some room before he starts another hot lap, but we'll get him on board. We'll stay on board with him, see what he does the next lap. But some of these corner names here at Kyalami, absolutely love. I mean, we're coming up to I believe it is crocodiles or cheetah. Yeah, it's cheetah. We're coming through right now, and our last corner now. And in fact, I didn't actually know this until recently. This kink on the start-finish straight is actually classed as a corner, and it's actually just called the kink. So this one here that Whitehead's just going through is actually turn 1, but I'd rather call this turn 1, this heavy braking zone here. But Crowthorne, a bit of a mistake there from Whitehead, and looks like he's going to return the car to the pits. Looks like Pryor about to come up towards the final corner here. He is 4/10 up as he rounds the final corner. Where is just going to put him? Looks like it's going to be around P13 for Pryor as he crosses the line. No, P14 for Pryor. P15 now. Oh my God, it's a few more drivers just improving there as Pryor goes over the line. Looks like Faulkner is 4/10 up as well as he comes through the final few corners. I believe he's coming through Crocodiles up towards Cheetah now. There we go, using all of the curb on the exit, even in the wet. Faulkner obviously confident with the car and the conditions. 5/10 up now. This is going to put him, it's going to be close. And he crosses the line there. P3 just wasn't enough there for P2, but still improves by quite a few positions, and he's still got plenty of time in this qualifying session to improve even more. Looks like Cano is up for an improvement as well. 2/10 as we come through Cheetah now. A bit wide though, that almost invalidated, but he's lost that time that he had. He rounds off the final corner now, 2/10 up instead of 3. No, it's down to 1/10, so it's not going to be much of an improvement, but I think he can gain a position. There we go, up into P10 goes Cano. Where is Curtin on the track at the moment? It's in a bit of traffic here, but looks like that is Canberra in the blue Honda, just moving out of the way, but he is up on his time, or he was, until I spoke. You can see the Honda in the background, slightly wide onto the grass. That is Hutchinson, I believe. He's currently sitting in P9 in this quali session. 1.6 off of the provisional pole sitter. But Curtin coming up towards the final corner here. Doesn't look like it's going to be an improvement for him, unfortunately. We switched to Pither versus Well, he's sitting P15 here. He is a few tenths up. Nope, he's lost it. As soon as we flick to someone, they seem to lose the time they've gained, and he's run wide there. He's going to bring it back to the pits. That was an invalid lap after running wide, unfortunately. But let's see who else is up for an improvement. Mohammed is a couple tenths up here. And he's still got another sector to go on this lap. So let's see what Mohammed can do. Now this last section, very, very narrow, quite tricky as well. Especially with it being wet, and some of these curves are going to be extremely slippery in the wet. But Cheetah being one of the most difficult corners on the circuit, I believe one little mistake and you'll be off into the gravel, like I mentioned earlier. But Mohammed has found some more time there. You see they're not using all of the track on the exit, but he is up for an improvement. There we go, puts it back into P2 for Mohammed. And Whitehead also up for another improvement. Let's go on board with him this time as we come through the S's now. And we go all the way up to, I believe, well, I don't know how to pronounce this corner name, so I'm not going to say it. But turn 10. As we go through and all the way down towards Mineshaft, then through Crocodiles. But let's see, is this corner flat in the wet for Whitehead? It should be. There we go, still flat in the wet. And onto the brakes, to this heavy braking zone here into Crocodiles. Using a little bit of the curb on the inside, but not too much. You can see how much you can cut there on the exit. Pretty much make the exit as straight as possible. Towards the final corner, you can see how much Whitehead trails the brakes into the corner, and an early shift there just to make sure he doesn't light up the rear wheels, and he does improve there. 146.625. Sidor has also improved as well. Oh, he just runs wide there through, I believe that's Sunset Corner. He has gone wide through. Yes, it is. But he has improved as well, so he's currently sitting in P2, although half a second off of Whitehead at the moment. And we've got quite a few drivers who are up for an improvement. Hillhorse, 5 tenths he's found as he exits the final corner. Looks like it's still within track limits here, using a lot more of the track on the exit. And there we go, up into P6 goes Hillhorst. And with the Audi not being one of the best cars in the wet, it is quite a good car at Kyalami, so that kind of balances things out. And you can see that Hillhorst and Muller both from, I believe it's DSRT or DTSRT. Let's actually have a quick look. DSRT, yes, I was correct. Viken about to cross the line there, no improvement from him this time around. The Nufriev currently sitting in P5, but he is 3 tenths up. You can see they're one of the fitted UK Motorsport drivers there, just moving out the way for the drivers who are on a hot lap, which is great to see. But Nufriev 4 tenths up as he approaches the final corner. This could put him on the second row. What's it going to be for Nufriev? As he crosses the line, is it P3? Yes, it is. There we go. Up into P3 goes Nufriev. So that's on the second row provisionally. Looks like Muller is going to cross the line now. Can he gain any more time? Yes, he has, but he hasn't been able to gain a position. And this will be his last chance to improve. Looks like Viken a bit sideways on the exit there, coming up towards the S's now. Now the curb on the inside there can be very, very lethal and spit you out to the left. But Viken taking just enough curb. You can hear there on the exit how much the TC is limiting him, and a bit sideways on the curb, and looks like he's he kept it together. No, he hasn't. A good attempt of a save, but unfortunately that is his qualifying session over. Tassin, who just comes past now, is up on his time as we come up towards Crocodiles. 3 tenths up as we speak. So if he maintains that, looks like he will be moving up quite a few positions here, possibly into P9, and Van Hoorn in P9 as well. That is a great position to be in for Van Hoorn. I know Aston's good in the wet, But amongst this grid, Van Hoorn has done absolute wonders so far, but Tassin is improving by 5/10 as he crosses the line. P8 for Tassin. That pushes Van Hoorn and Viken down a position there. Hutchinson a 10th up, that may move him up one spot as well. It's going to be very, very close. Canberra currently sitting in P15 is 4/10 up as well, so it's actually going to be very close towards the end of this qualifying session. Looks like Hutchinson has lost that time again. Looks like Canberra's lost that time again as well. But will he improve? He does, up into P13. So a 10th was just enough to jump him up 2 positions there. And Hutchinson rounds the final corner, but looks like he's lost that time he gained. So it's not going to be an improvement for Hutchinson. Faulkner, though, is a 10th up. And let's see, he's kept it together there. Coming up towards the final corner now. And he's to be early on the power, using a lot more of the exit, and well, at least then Mamid did what we saw the other Ferrari driver do, but it's not going to be an improvement. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Whitehead on pole, Sidor in P2, and Nufiev in P3. We'll be back very shortly for the start of the race, so make sure to stay tuned. Here we go, lining up on the grid for the start of the formation lap here. And we've got quite a good grid today. I believe we have around 28, 29 cars on the grid, which is great to see. And once again, many liveries here, many beautiful liveries across the field. But as we saw in qualifying, Whitehead took pole, Sidor in P2. No surprise, we've got two Porsches up the front and a Nufriev in P3. And it'll be, I believe it will be, well, he's raced with us before. Not in a championship, but I believe in some endurance events. But it will be pretty much, we'll say, his debut championship race with us. So we look forward to seeing what he can do out on track. But of course, we have a mandatory pit stop in this race, like usual in all of our races. And drivers, it is slightly different in this one, in the Next Level Racing Championship. Drivers will have to change tyres in this one, and refueling is optional. So some drivers may start on half a tank of fuel, others may start on a full tank of fuel. We just don't know what the strategy will be, but it's something different to what we usually do, which is always nice to have a change. But in the race, will we see Whitehead once again pull away from the rest of the field? Or will Sidor be able to take the challenge to him this time? Or maybe even a Nufriev, we don't know. Racing in the wet can throw some predictions out the window. Usually see a lot more mistakes in the wet, especially with the curves being so slippery, and the grass especially. If you dip a wheel into that grass, it's going to be difficult to get the car stopped, especially into the braking zones. But here you see the drivers lining up 2 by 2 now. We've got a few more comments coming in. Emmanuel Novak showing his support for Jan and Curtin. Viper, good to see you as well. Simon Mello as well, hi, good to see you guys. A lot of support for Jan in the comments as well. Simon, hello, good to see you. I don't know if we've seen you before, but welcome if you are new to the stream. The driver's now rounding off the final corner. Now we know how wide the start-finish straight is. You can see it can easily fit 3 or 4 cars wide here. But we are going to be green any moment now. And we are green, there we go. Whitehead off to a good start. Sidor pulling to the inside as soon as possible. Slots in behind Whitehead. You can see we're almost 3 wide in the background, nearly 4 wide. And Whitehead into turn 1, holds on to that lead, but looks like a Nufriev trying that inside line into turn 1, but wasn't able to get that move done. Looks like we've got a Honda off there in the background. No, everyone looks to have gotten through cleanly, although looks like we have 1 car off. I think that's a 26 car, unfortunately. Jeremy Cano, who's facing the wrong way. Looks like he had a bit of contact there. He's got a bit of damage on the rear and a bit on the front as well of that Porsche. But here we go, Whitehead already opening up a nearly a second gap to Sidor in P2. Mamet up into P3 now off the start. And like I said earlier, I think we might see Whitehead pulling away from the rest of the field once again. And yeah, he might just have another Sunday drive. Although I say Sunday drive, he's still going to have to be pushing it. Sidor is no slouch of a driver, and you definitely can't take it easy with Sidor sitting in P2. Mamet now having to go slightly defensive with a Nufriev that close behind. Hilhorst is up into P7, Faulkner down into P6 now off the start. Tassin there in P7 as well. I believe Tassin started in P8, so a few drivers moving up a position or 2, and there's been contact there in the background. Looks like that is BJR there. in the BMW. Looks like a bit more contact there between the two, and it looks like that is Vasala, who just got tapped around there in the Porsche, and Cano very wide through Crocodile as well. So these conditions catching out a few drivers early on, especially into the tighter corners. We go back to the race leader, Whitehead. It's already pulled a 1.5 second gap. I think he'll be pulling away lap after lap here unless he somehow makes a mistake. We don't really see Whitehead making many mistakes on track, but Sidor pulling away from Mamid ever so slightly as well. The gap between these two is about half a second. But they're not really battling too hard at the moment. It is just a bit of a choo-choo train here. And of course, the leaders don't really want to, well, not just the leaders, the top 10 really aren't really going to be going for any risky moves this early on. Now, it is a 1 hour race, so there's plenty of time for these drivers to make overtakes. They're just going to be working together, sort of, not battling too hard, so they can pull away from the rest of the field. And then once they're into their own little battles, then they can start going for some moves. And Hutchinson very deep on the brakes there. That's not going to help him whatsoever. He has lost a bit of time as a result. Van Hoorn there in P11, started in P10, has dropped down a position. Maybe just taking a bit easy on the opening lap, but doesn't really mean anything. It is a long race, and well, you'd rather lose a position or two and then make contact with anyone. And it looks like we've got a Porsche off in the background. That's TP Racing there, very, very deep on the brakes, and he's lost a couple of positions as a result. So looks like Pryor, Dressel and Barth all got through there. Barth currently sitting in P17, TP Racing right on his tail now after that mistake, and looks like that was Brommel as well on the back of Pythagoras. So can Brommel get this move done into turn one? Looks like he's not close enough just yet, but he has a think, but backs out of that just before. Looks like Faulkner still on the back of Hill Horse as well. This train still going on very, very strong. But Vasala, after that incident, has picked up quite a bit of damage on the front and rear of the Porsche, which is a shame, and he's down in P28 now. It looks like BJR's got a move done there on Johnny Marsh. Marsh going very wide there onto the grass. That's going to allow Purcell through. That's going to allow Canberra through as well. You can see in the background, I believe that's Kruger battling with Capelli and Cano now. So Kruger running in P25. They could be happy not to be running last. And looks like that is the McLaren very, very wide there through Sunset. But luckily he's held it together. We've got a bit of runoff on the exit. It's not just wet paint. Well, it's not just slippery paint on the exit, which is quite helpful there. You can see the pace difference between these two, absolutely massive. Cano trying to get past, but he's got to do it cleanly here. I think into this braking zone, he might be able to get the move done. He looks towards the inside there, and looks like it's going to be an easy move there for Cano, but Kruger still running in a strong position as of now. We move back up towards Marsh, who is not far off of Canberra there. Marsh in a bit of a train here. You can see that Purcell now pulling away, but Marsh still very, very close to Canberra. We know the Mercedes is a good car in the wet as well. Quite a fairly good car at Kyalami too. But you don't really see many people using the Mercedes anymore. We'll keep an eye on these two. We go back to the race leader, Whitehead, who's pulled a 5-second lead to Sidor in P2. He's now having to defend heavily against a Nufriev. In fact, what has happened to Mamid? He's down in P19, so he's made a massive mistake somewhere. It looks like Hillhorse losing a position to Faulkner as well. Look at this train. It's Faulkner followed by Hillhorse, then Tassin, then Viken, then Muller, then Hutchinson. They are extremely close. They're battling in the wet. They are almost, well, it's pretty much like a snake we've got here. They are absolutely bumper to bumper. And this is a great battle we're going to have to watch throughout the race here. Hutchinson taking a different line here and compared to the drivers in front. That's either on purpose, or he's just missing his braking zone. But I think he goes for a bit of a later apex here, down towards Mineshaft and Crocodile, maybe to get a run on the drivers in front, but it hasn't quite worked, though he is still very, very close. Now, this train isn't too far off of Anufriv or Sidor either, and it looks like they've actually closed in quite a bit on... Nope, they haven't. That's just the gaps. Changing as they go through the final corner and onto the start-finish straight. It looks like we're going to have to get the battle between Sidor and Anufriv up as well, because I mean they're battling for P2 at the moment, and Anufriv had a look into turn 1 but backed out of it. Sidor was able to hold on to that position. Great defending from him into turn 1, but this is some amazing battling here for wet conditions. You can see now Hilgors and Faulkner have pulled away from Viken and the rest, so maybe a bit of a mistake though. Some more battling going on now. Muller down the inside, upper position there on Tassin through Sunset, and Hutchinson eyeing up a move as well. But with these drivers battling, Van Horn's going to be able to close the gap, or he has a good chance of closing the gap as well. You can see in the background that is Curtin now, who's got a bit of a train forming behind him. Curtin currently running in P11, has got Pipavers in P12, Rommel in P13, Matt Pryor catching up there in P14, Dressel in P15, Barth in P16. So all these, well, it's from P11 to P16, are all pretty much in the battle. You see here the other Pryor, Stuart Pryor there in P17, defending against TP Racing. TP Racing, after a slight mistake, has been able to get back into the groove. Obviously he's got no damage, it was just that he ran very deep into this corner a few laps ago, and Mamid down the inside there. Is he going to make that stick? Doesn't look like he will be able to. A bit of contact between the two, and Mamid leaves in the car, facing the wrong way now. Mamid just tapping the inside of the Porsche, and tapping the rear quarter of the Porsche, and somehow he got spun. Unfortunately, he's now dropped down to P20 with Purcell all over the back of him. That's a 4-car battle for P20, and Mamid obviously out of position. He is easily capable of a top 3 in this race. So I don't think Purcell, Canberra, Marsh, or Cano there in the background, P24, are going to be really battling with him at the moment. Unless, of course, he makes a few more mistakes. And that's what we've been seeing so far in this race. Some drivers making more mistakes than they usually would in the dry. You see there the TC, the traction control there of Sidor. You just hear it, how much it's limiting you on power, but you need that traction control here in these cars. And he's Anufriv going to look towards the inside. He is. Sidor's left him in the room. Bit of contact between the two, but Anufriv, they're not getting spun around. Bit of a similar incident between, well, that these two have had compared to Mamid and I believe it was TP Racing, but luckily Anufriv, well, a bit luckier in that incident than Mamid was. But we look down towards Tassin, who's currently in in P8 here, still on this train, but it's separating ever so slightly. You can see there Faulkner, Hilhorst and Viken are pulling away now, and Muller's going to have to do some defensive driving very shortly. He's got Tassin all over the back of him. But Tassin dropping down the order. In fact, he's actually stayed in the same, well, he stayed in his qualifying position, like, so over the top 3, in fact, all stayed in positions. Faulkner has moved up 1 position, Viken has moved up 3 positions, so he's on a roll here. And Curtin, who's currently in P11 at the moment, has, I believe, the most positions gained in the race so far. 6 places. He started in P17 Matt Pryor as well down in P14 has also gained 6 places, and so has Stuart Pryor. They've all had some great starts here to this race. And in fact, Curtin closing the gap to Van Hoorn now. That last lap, however, Van Hoorn was a couple of tenths quicker. Curtin now in a bit of clean air, so he might be able to reel Carl in lap after lap. And we can see we've got another battle going on for P15 as well. Looks like Barth is right in the back of Dressel here. Barth not close enough for this move, but he has been closing in. We know that Porsche once again very quick on this track, and that last lap, these two were very similar in lap time, only separated by about a tenth, but Barth is very close now. You can see how much easier he's able to get the car rotating through the final corner. You can just get on the power so much quicker as well in that Porsche, but coming down the straight is where it's going to struggle, although he's in the slipstream, so it shouldn't be too bad. Coming to turn 1, once again, Barth not close enough for a send down the inside. But that last lap, yeah, Barth was actually much quicker. He's 5 tenths quicker that last lap was Barth. He definitely has the pace to get past. The question is where. Kyalami has a few heavy braking zones, but for the most part, it is a very narrow track. Apart from that start-finish straight, of course, we've got all the room in the world to make a move. Barth's still very close, and he's going to hang on for as long as possible. Now you can see Hutchinson there is caught back up to Matt Pryor and Tassin. No, sorry, Muller and Tassin. That's now a separate 3-car battle. Viken has pulled away slightly to this pack. You can see there coming up towards Cheetah now. And oh, who is that very sideways? That looked to be one of the Audis. Was that Hill Horse? Looks like it was Hill Horse to be still currently in P5, but that was a very scary moment for him. Luckily he's held it together. We go back to Dressel, who's on the back of Pryor now. This is a 3-way battle for P14. And on board with Barth here in the Porsche into turn 1. Well, it's turn 2, but I'm going to call this turn 1 just to make sure we don't confuse anyone, because it is a bit of a confusing layout here. Tip off with a bit of oversteer on the exit, a bit of understeer on entry as well. That's lost him some time to Dressel in front. Now coming through Sunset, this is well, one of my favourite corners on this circuit. You really trail the brakes on entry, and then you've got to delay the power really. But nice livery here from Dressel. You can see the never give up sign there. Hashtag never give up, just above the front left wheel there. But he is sticking with Pryor. Looks like we've got yellow flags out on circuit. Where were the yellow flags? I'm not too sure who the yellow flags are. It's Nufriev who's dropping down the order here. Looks like, I think, has Nufriev disconnected? I think he's either lost the car because I can't find Nufriev's name, unfortunately. It looks like we have lost Nufriev, which is a shame. We'll switch back to the race leader, Whitehead, who's, wow, 10 seconds already. The P2 Sador's actually been able to pull away now that, well, he was pulling away from Nufriev anyways, but unfortunately, it was either a crash or a disconnection from Anuferev, and he was running so well there. Cano into the pits quite early, so it looks like he's picked up some more damage then, and he's gonna have to get that repaired. You can see they're still running very, very wide onto the grass here, and Faulkner not far behind either. In fact, that last lap he was 2/10 quicker, so he's catching Sidor at a reasonable pace here. You see the Ferrari not liking those elevated curves one bit. They look back towards Tassin and Muller. These two still battling together, with Hutchinson not far behind either. Well, he's right there in fact, is Hutchinson. We've still got Dressel battling with Pryor. In fact, they're only separated by a couple of tenths here. Dressel looking towards the inside, he's not going to go for that, but he forces Pryor to take a slightly more defensive line there. And can Dressel, oh, a bit of a wiggle on the exit, found a puddle on the inside or the middle of the track there, and luckily he was able to save it. But Barth closing back into these two once again, and he is in the fight here for E13. You can see in the background another battle going on between Mahmoud and TP Racing. Looks like Mahmoud has got past there. He's moved back up into P16, and for Mahmoud it's pretty much going to be damage limitation for him. He started, Mahmoud actually started P4, so he's lost 12 positions, which is a shame for him. You can see the gap between Van Hoorn and Curtin now down to a second. That was about 2 seconds, or a second and a half, not long ago. It looks like down to P23, Vasala and Malcolm battling for position. We know that Vasala's got a bit of damage on that Porsche. It's not going to help in the corners. It's not going to help down the straight. Malcolm with a slight bit of damage on the rear as well, but doesn't look to be anywhere near as much as that Porsche is carrying into turn. And you can see how much he's closing in on Vasala there, just in front. We've got battles going on throughout the field. Looks like Kruger has been passed by Capelli, and Capelli now opening that gap up to 2.5 seconds. Slightly wide there for Malcolm. He's lost a bit of time to Vasala now. We skip to P9 and P10. Curtin and Van Hoorn. You can see in the background Pythares and Brommel catching up to these two as well. So we've got potentially another four-way battle for the P9 here. And also looks like Viken has closed the gap to Hillhorst as well, so that's another battle we've got to have a look at. You see it coming up towards turn one. Curtin has really closed the gap down to, well, less than half a second between these two now. And Curtin's going to be eyeing up a move very shortly. Now the pit window is open. Drivers have 20 minutes here to serve their pit stop. And a big slide there, a bit of oversteer on the exit for Van Hoorn, but he's been able to catch that slide just in time. But look how defensive he's going, coming up towards Sunset Corner. He's in the middle of the track. Can Curtin try and go for a switchback here? No, he's backed out of that move. Thinks better of it. And he's just biding his time here. Doesn't really need to push or go for a move just yet. We've still got pit stops to go. He definitely doesn't want to be making a mistake 20 minutes into the race. But Van Hoorn seems to be feeling the pressure now with Curtin behind. Van Hoorn, we know, is a great driver. He's been racing since the start here at the SimZone. Is of course an admin with us as well, so he knows what it takes to defend on track. But with these two battling, Pythares is closed in by half a second, and Brommel seems to be losing a bit of time now. The gap between Brommel and Pythares now 2 seconds, but yeah, Pythares is really closing in into these two now. So they're going to have to be careful, and we may even see Pithvers go for an earlier pit stop to try and get an undercut. But we can also see there on the right hand side we've got Viken right in the back of Hilhorst now. Hilhorst is going to have to think about defending very soon. That Porsche of Viken seems to be lapping quicker at the moment. In fact, that last lap he was 4/10ths quicker than Hilhorst, and a bit of oversteer there. Same corner that Van Hoorn nearly lost the car, and Van Hoorn having to go defensive here, coming through that left-hander. Once again, a bit more oversteer. It seems to be that there's a lack of grip there through that corner. But it looks like that is that Pithvers having to go defensive? Yes, it is. So he's made another mistake, and that's going to be Brommel on his outside. Can Pithvers hold the inside here through the next corner? Looks like he's later on the brakes, but is it going to set him wide on exit? Looks like it is. No, Brommel tried the switchback, but couldn't get it done there. Settles back for P12. It was very close between those two, and it's still very close between Hilhorst and Viken as we speak. You can see in the background, I believe that's Cano, who is a back marker in between. Who is it? It's Viken and Tassin actually. So Tassin not far behind these two. You can see that he's stuck behind Cano at the moment. Cano moving out of the way, I believe. There we go. That's great to see from Cano. Brommel all over the grass there. Looks like we've got one of the Porsches. Is that Curtin? Yes, it is. He's made a huge mistake very late in the brakes there, and now he's fallen into the clutches of the BMW just behind Pithvers. Pithvers is not going to pit just yet. He's going to want to get this move done on track. He's got an opportunity to do so. Exiting the final corner, doesn't look like the slipstream is going to be enough to warrant the move coming up towards turn 1. And like I said earlier, they may think about pitting very soon. A track is actually now damp, so track conditions changing here, but we are expecting the rain to get heavier within about half an hour, and it could be earlier, but it's within 30 minutes that the rain will get much heavier, so it might help some of these drivers that have got their pressures a bit too high. But yeah, it's not a fully wet track at the moment. And the race leader Whitehead with a 14.5 second lead there to Sidor in P2. Hilhorst and Viken still battling here. Viken once again. Actually, that last lap Viken wasn't quicker. Slightly different lines between the two. Hilhorst using a lot more of the track, but it hasn't gained him anything. I think he went a bit too wide there, maybe turning slightly late. It doesn't look like he's being phased whatsoever with the pressure that Viken's putting on him at the moment. And of course, you really need to get a good exit out of that final corner if you want to get a move done into turn 1. Van Hoorn into the pits. Pithvers now into the pits there for, well, potentially an undercut for Pithvers. We'll have to see. Dressel in P12. What has happened? No, Dressel's still running in. No, so Dressel's still running there in P11. He's got Mammed closing in on him though. Mammed on a recovery drive now, of course. Doesn't look like he's actually picked up much damage as Mammed. I think it was just a bit of exchanging paint between himself and TP Racing, as we saw earlier. But it looks like we skipped down to P15 TP Racing and BJR there side by side, but BJR slots back in. He's got some heavy damage on that BMW. Looks towards the inside once again, but TP Racing shuts the door. He knows he can hold on. He got a bit of oversteer on the exit though, a bit of a wiggle, and can he hold on coming up towards Sunset? BJR looking towards the inside, looking left and right, but it's not really a corner. He can go for an overtake, and oh, very sideways there for BJR. caught the curb on the inside, and with the curbs being wet here, they are extremely slippery, and once again oversteer on the exit for the Porsche in front. These two thinking it's Tokyo Drift at the moment, but it's not. We're GT racing here, and BJR slightly wide onto the grass here. They're really struggling, these two. You can see getting a bit flustered at the moment, I think, while battling together. And I think they may have come into contact last time at Nürburgring, so that may be a bit of a reason why they are looking out for any out of the ordinary moves. But it looks like this battle settled down ever so slightly now. TP Racing able to pull away by about a second. And let's look back to Sidor, who is maintaining that 2-second gap to Faulkner just behind. But the lap prior to this, well, yeah, the previous lap actually, Sidor was 8/10 slower, so he definitely made a mistake that last lap, or he's just not able to continue that pace he had at the start. The gap between Sidor and Faulkner, yeah, come down by a couple tenths. We look towards Hilhorst and Viken once again. These two have been battling for quite a few laps now, and Hilhorst slightly wide. That did let Viken poke his nose up the inside, but he backed out of that just to avoid contact. Now, will we see any of these two dive into the pits? For Viken, he's going to need to time his pit stop to perfection here. He can go for an undercut, but he definitely doesn't want to come out in traffic. But he just needs to time it, and if he's got it right, it could play massively in his favour. But looks like he's going to stay out on track here as we round the final corner. Bit of oversteer there on the exit for Hilhorst. Looks like, once again, Viken struggling in that final corner, I think. Those final few corners, he loses quite a lot of time to the Audi in front. And that just doesn't allow him to be close enough for a move into turn one. You can see there, Muller has got Hutchinson behind him, well, closing in quite quickly. That last lap, no, in fact, Muller closing in on Viken. That last lap, Muller was 6/10 quicker than Viken, so he is catching this little battle up in front. And Hutchinson's going to be pulled along by Muller as well, so we could have another 4-car battle shortly. Obviously, we've still got the pit stops to go, so that could really change things and switch things up. It looks like Faulkner and Sidor still 1.7 seconds between those two. Sidor's just managing that gap, not pushing too hard. I think he's accepted that he won't be able to catch Whitehead. So he's just maintaining P2 and looking down at P22. That seems to be Mamid stuck behind Kruger here. See how much time he's losing. And it looks like Kruger diving into the pits there. Let's see. Yeah, looks like he stopped it just in time here. The pit stop entry here at Kyalami, not the easiest. It's pretty much a 90-degree left once you enter the pits. And if you're going too fast, it does end in disaster. And we look down towards P24. Van Hoorn has, I think, lost a lot of time in the pits there. I think Van Hoorn has lost a huge amount of time in the pits because he's only in P24. I expected him to be much further up. Ah, there we go. No, still, I expected him to be much further up the order. He's only 3 seconds in front of Purcell. He's looking towards the inside here into turn one. These two not battling for position. Of course, Cano still yet to serve his mandatory pit stop, but Van Hoorn wasn't able to make that move stick. And Cano has repaired his damage, but of course pitted before the pit window, so he's going to have to serve yet another stop. That's going to drop him down quite a few positions once again. Vasala pretty much lapping on his own at the moment. And looks like Capelli as well, close behind Mahmoud. Still yet to pit. That's Canberra wide again. We saw him wide there earlier on in the race. Capelli onto the grass. Is he going to go into the pits? No, he's keeping it out on track. Is Capelli. And to possibly try and follow Pryor in front. It looks like Viken and Hilhorst neck and neck here. Hilhorst still in front. But they've both served their pit stops now. And looks like we've got the race leader into the pits. Hutchinson into the pits now as well. The door has served his mandatory stop, and in fact, he's come up behind Faulkner. So what's happened here for Sidor? We're going to have to check the pit stop times. Oops, nope, that's number of pit stops. Last stop length. So looks like Sidor with a 62-second pit stop, and Faulkner with a 57-second pit stop. So that's where Sidor has lost all the time, and he's lost that position, but he's not too far off of Faulkner. Only about 1 second there, Faulkner. And Faulkner back in the pit, so I think that's a drive-through penalty. In fact, we can double-check this. No, it doesn't seem to be a drive-through penalty. So something... Yeah, there's no penalty there for Faulkner, so something has happened. Maybe he hasn't fueled enough. And he's going to drop right down the order now with a second pit stop there for Faulkner. It looks like Viken into the pits as well. What has happened between these two? It's showing that they've served their mandatory stops, which is quite odd. As they're both going to drop right down the order now. And they would have been much further up. So I think they've made... Well, they've both probably made a bit of a mistake there. And I think it might be something to do with fuel. But that's dropped them well down the order. Faulkner has now come out in P15. Viken out in P16. So they definitely made a mistake there in the pit stops. Maybe they put on the wrong tyres. That could have also been an issue. But the two, well, 4 drivers yet to pit, I believe. Muller, who's in the provisional race lead, Marsh in P4, Capelli in P14, and Cano in P19. But after the pit stops, the grid is a bit spaced out. It's not what we usually have, but with the weather being as it is, I'm not surprised one bit. Barth is closing back up to Pryor though, P9 and P10. This is another battle that will be heating up towards the end. Looks like we've got a few more comments coming in. The Priya saying the track is wetter than expected. Yes, it is. It was actually damp earlier on, but the rain has become heavier over the last 10 or so minutes, and the track now wet. Jeffrey in the comments showing support for Sidor. Yes, Sidor running in the P3 at the moment, will be P2 once Muller has served his mandatory pit stop. Looks like Capelli into the pits now. And there's not much time left for the drivers who haven't pitted to serve their stop. There we go, Muller into the pits as well. That leaves Marsh and Cano out on track to do their pit stops. Cano's still on the back of Van Hoorn, but he's lost a lot of time trying to battle with Van Hoorn when they're not really on the same strategy here. But Barth now closing up to Pryor. These two within a second of each other. You can see there Muller dropping down as well. He's going to drop down the order now, and we'll see where he comes out on track. In fact, yeah, he's still in his box. Now on board with Barth here. Again, onboard view from Pryor as well. Look at the exit that Barth has got there through Crocodile, now coming through Cheetah, bouncing over that sausage curb. Luckily, he's been able to take that. But it's quite an unpredictable corner. Oops, that was not meant to happen. Ignore that. Apologies for that, but yeah, it's quite an unpredictable corner there with the sausage curb on the inside. You can see here now Barth just sticking with Pryor. Now where has Muller come out? Muller's come out into P3 there. 10 seconds behind Tador, but Hilhorst very close to Muller actually. 1 second separating those two as well. We've also got another battle going on between Viken and Marsh, so we'll switch to that in just a moment. Looks like, actually we're going to have to switch to that now. Looks like Viken has got that moved on Marsh there. Down the inside he goes, but Marsh pulling alongside on the exit here, using the power of the AMG to get back along on the outside, but it's not going to be enough for him, so he's going to slot back in. And yeah, it's not really a corner you can go for an overtake on there, Sunset Corner, especially if you're on the outside. But we've seen it done before. Just have to have a good enough of an exit out of the previous corner. But Vika moves up a position there. We skip to Hilhorst in P4, who isn't far from Muller whatsoever. Now both of these drivers from DSRT in the Audi, but that doesn't mean they're going to be working together. I'm sure they're going to be battling for position, and we'll just have to wait and see until they get closer. But for now, we want to be watching this battle between Barth and Pryor. You see here, Barth losing a bit of time now. Pryor has put his foot down. He's starting to inch away, but no, look at that. The exit that Barth got out of the S's, and oh, that's a car facing the wrong way. That looks to be Cano there into the barriers. Yes, it is. Cano's not had a good race so far. And what a shame for Cano. In fact, we're going to try and see what exactly happened there to Cano. It did seem to be a bit of an odd position to have a crash, and in fact I think oh no, he's gone a bit wide there, so we're going to bring up what happened here to Cano. Now it's coming through the, well, it's on the exit of the S's here. You can see they're already running a bit wide, was Cano. I'm pushing the car a bit too much here, but Barth looking towards the inside, no. And you can see it on the exit of the S's, gets a bit too wide onto the grass and loses complete control of the car into the barriers. And that's, that was it there for Cano, facing the wrong way. And what a shame, but I believe he has continued, which is great to see. is still running in P22. But obviously it's picked up a lot of damage as a result. Manuel Novak in the comments saying otherwise are both top 10. Yes, so Barth and Curtin, I believe. Barth running in P9, Curtin running in P6, which is a great position to be running in, especially now that Beacon and Faulkner have had to pit. It looks like Faulkner has actually got past has got past Canberra there, so up into P12 goes Faulkner, Canberra down into P13. And where is Beacon? 12 seconds back. That's a lot of time lost there. Tassin into the pits. What has happened to Tassin? I don't think he's got any penalties, no. Has he got any damage? Doesn't look like it. These two continue to battle. And they are, in fact, the closest on track at the moment. Looks like Sidor's, there's yellow flags out for Sidor. He's lost the car, he's going to lose the position to Muller here. Looks like he got a bit of oversteer. The corner that we've seen a lot of drivers lose it, or at least almost lose it. But that's put him down to P3, and he's in a bit of an Audi sandwich now between the between Muller and Hilhorst. What a shame for Sidor. That has put him down a position. He is running comfortably in P2 as well. But just goes to show you how tricky these conditions are. One mistake can lead to a loss in position here. But Sidor, I believe, yeah, P4 in the championship at the moment. I think as long as he finishes in front of Mohammed and Tassin, he's going to be moving up the order in the championship. But Muller is, well, Muller currently sitting in P2 in the championship, Sidor in P4, and they're only separated by 3 points. Muller is now, well, he's now gained that position, so these two still both battling in the championship here. So Sidor's going to want to get that position back as soon as possible, and you can see here now Barth, well, Pryor, Barth and Mohammed now both battling, well, all 3 of them battling for P8 now. It's not going to be easy for Barth to hold off Mohammed. We know Mohammed is definitely, well, he's definitely got the pace for a top 3 finish. Like I said earlier, he qualified in P4 and made a few moves on the opening lap as well. Moved up into P3, I believe. But it's all about consistency in the wet. One mistake, like I said, and you're gone. But look at that lead that Whitehead has. 40 seconds. I don't think I've seen a lead that big in a while. And he's just on another level. It's Whitehead. We know Whitehead's been in the SRO Esports Champion, so you do expect him to be up the front, but 40 seconds. And Muller and Sidor, well, like I said earlier, they're not slow drivers. I mean, they are in the top 3 at the moment. And Sidor is our previous season's champion back in season 7, so just goes to show how quick Whitehead is at the moment. And looking at Mohammed, looks like he's got that move done on Barth. So up the inside there, Mohammed up into P9, and Pryor's not going to be able to catch a break here. He's had to hold off Barth, and now he's going to have to hold off the Ferrari there of Mohammed, who's closing in so quickly. They're looking towards the outside. Is Mohammed, and is he going to get that switchback done? We got trackside here between these two, but looks like he's been able to hold on coming into Cheetah. And Mohammed's going to have to be careful here. He can't just go offline and open up the door for Jan, because Jan's going to take any given opportunity there for a move. He's been ever so patient as Jan. But that patience might be running out as we approach the final 10 minutes of this race. We've got a lot of support in the comments there for Sidor Piggle Mosh. Oh, what a name! Saying smash the like. I appreciate that. Yeah, those that are supporting Sidor, let us know what you're saying in English. So I have no clue what that means. But I know it's supporting Sidor. I think maybe Sidor's family members or friends. I'm not exactly sure. But once again, Pryor still holding on against Mamid. Mamid hasn't found a way past just yet. And Sidor now closing the gap to Muller as well. So Muller's going to have to start thinking about defending very shortly. Sidor's going to want to get that position back. And he is closing in. He is quicker, so he has a good chance of doing so. That last lap was only a tenth quicker actually. 47.9 for Muller and 47.8 for Sidor. But it looks like Pryor and Mami going side by side here, and looks like there's a bit of contact between the two, and Pryor losing the car. He's down to 180 here, and it looks like he's going to lose that position. Mamid is going to move up. In fact, Barth has got back past Mamid here, so Barth are taking advantage, capitalising on the bit of contact that Mamid and Pryor had, and there we go. Back up into P8 goes Barth. Now the question is, how long can he hold on against Mamid? It wasn't for very long when Mamid got past Barth, but maybe he can try and hold on for longer here. We're almost into the final 10 minutes of this race. So Barth is really going to want to hold on here now. Looks like Mamid trying around the outside. Is he going to get it done? They're side by side coming up towards the S's here. Barth is on the inside, but Mamid, is he going to try and hold around the outside? And he's got it done around the outside there for Mamid. What a move. Barth wasn't able to do anything against that, but there we go. Mamid just later on the brakes was able to carry the speed on the outside, maybe even found a bit more grip there on the outside, and there we go, was able to hold on. Barth down into P9, but doesn't really have anyone behind him to worry about. Pryor losing the car has actually got Faulkner very close behind him now. Sidor down the inside there of Muller, and he's got that move done. Bit of contact between the two. Muller doesn't seem to be happy with that, but it looked to be quite a good move there from Sidor. So upper position he goes, and we've also got another battle, like I said, between Faulkner and Pryor. Pryor down another position here. Faulkner up into P10 now, and lo and behold, we've got both Pryors on track P11 and P12 again. I think Matt must have spun on purpose, surely, just to be with Stuart Pryor. And once again, these two aren't related, but they've been on track, just a position behind each other every single race, and it always confuses me because they're from the same country. They've both got the same surname, but they are on different cars. So in fact, let's bring up the manufacturers just so we don't get confused anymore between the two. Matt Pryor obviously in the Audi, Stuart Pryor in the Aston Martin. Stuart Pryor, I've got to specify, running in P12 at the moment. Not really got anyone behind him. The car behind is Cano, but Cano currently down in P21, so not really involved in this battle. Now we go back to P8. Mamid has been able to pull away, and all very, very close there for I believe that was Capelli in P20 there, who was all over the grass, but luckily he didn't lose the car. That would have been disaster for him and Mamed. But yeah, after Mamed got that moved on Barth, he's been able to put away almost 2 seconds here. But Sidor and Muller separated by just a second here. And Muller's not going to let him get away with this one easily. They are lapping very similar pace at the moment. Now for those that missed that overtake that Sidor made on Muller, I'm going to bring it up in just a moment. I believe it was into... Was it into turn 1? Yes, it was into turn 1. In fact, it may have been a bit of a dive bomb from Sidor, but he was able to do it cleanly. And let's have a look at this overtake now that Sidor made coming into turn 1. So you can see here, he got a great exit out of the final corner. And obviously the slipstream as well, so he's going to have that to his advantage. But at this point, you'd be thinking, no way is Sidor going to go for a move down the inside. But much later on the brakes there, Muller left him the room, left the door wide open there. And no, I think that was a perfectly executed move from Sidor, in fact. And gained a position as a result, but Muller is closing back into Sidor now. He's probably driving with a bit of frustration and giving everything he's got. And Sidor not able to pull away. In fact, got a bit of a bad exit out of that corner of that left-hander. That's allowed Muller to close in once again. That's where Sidor lost the car last time. But Muller slightly wide there. And that's allowed Sidor to pull about half a second more. To Muller, that's giving him a bit more space to breathe. Looks like Dressel catching up to Purcell here as well. P18 and P19, yeah. The Dressel in the McLaren here, catching up to the other fitted, well, one of the fitted UK motorsport drivers there in the BMW. See, they're going through Cheetah, staying well clear of that SimZone on the inside, but it looks to be a good exit from Dresser out the final corner. In fact, the trackside cameras a bit misleading there. It did show, well, it did look like they were much closer on exit. But Purcell under a bit of pressure now as we enter the final 5 minutes of this race. Purcell is going to need to put the car exactly where he needs to. He's going to need to park it on every apex here to hold back Dressel. And a bit of oversteer for Dressel there on the exit, but he caught it. Nice sliding going on, nice drifting from a lot of the drivers here. It's a Tokyo Drift at Kyalami, in fact. We get the new Fast and Furious movie. This is, well, we've got it right here live on stream. Looking at Muller and Sidor, Muller has dropped back, so he's made a massive mistake somewhere. That's 10 seconds back to Sidor. And in fact, Hilhorst as well. Hutchinson is up into P4 now, so something has happened to Hilhorst. He's now... So he missed that while we were watching this battle, so Hutchinson is now up into P4 here. I think this is going to be one of his best finishes so far of the season, across all championships maybe. If he can hold on to it Of course, I don't want to put the commentator's cursor to anyone, but Hilhorst has definitely made a mistake somewhere. He's down into P5 now, but where did Hilhorst start? Started P6, so of course he's still moved upwards from the from his grid grid position. Hutchinson though moved up 7 positions in the race. Brommel in P7 has moved up 9 positions, and Curtin, who has he hasn't actually gained the most. Curtin's gained 11 positions here. In fact, we'll bring this up so we can show everyone. You can see here, prior, Curtin has gained 11. Prior there in P12. Now, which one is that? That's Stuart Pryor in the Aston Martin. Started P24, and he's up into P12 now. So that's the most positions gained so far in this race. And the top two, still as it were, Whitehead in P1, Sidor in P2, and almost a 50-second lead that Whitehead has got. I really don't think I've seen a lead that big, or a race that's been so dominantly. I can't find the word. Well, Whitehead's just dominated this race here, and I don't think I've seen anything like it. It looks like Hilhorst now closing back up to Hutchinson. And it's not long left to go before the end of the race here. How long can Hutchinson hold on for? You can hear a bit of standing water on the inside there. Luckily not doing too much for the drivers. There's still a lot of spray, even though the rain has settled down quite a lot. But there's still a lot of standing water on the track as well. Hutchinson now able to keep that second gap to Hilhorst. We've got Dressel and Purcell still battling as well, so we're going to have to get these two side by side, I think. You see there, Dressel trying everything he can to get this move done, because we are nearing the end of the race. In fact, where is Whitehead? Whitehead is coming up towards the final corner, so it's going to be one more lap. As he crosses the line, we will be on to the final lap then. We'll go back to this battle between Hutchinson and Hilhorst. You can see they're sliding the car there, the back end all over the place there for Hilhorst. And now let's see what Hilhorst can do here, or can Hutchinson hold on to P4? Now the fastest lap of the race also going to Whitehead as well, the 146.2 I believe. Yep, 146.2 has been the fastest lap of the race, and he is still coming around the track. Yeah, he's coming, it's just exiting the S's here. And it looks like Sidor there's just past Dressel and Purcell, who are still battling on track. We'll stick with our race leader here as we come to the final few corners of this lap, of this race. And it's been such a dominant performance here from Whitehead, led from start to finish with a 51-second gap to Sidor. That's absolutely amazing. And here we go, Whitehead rounding the final corner. No one has been able to keep up with him, crossing the line in P1 to finish once again. Back-to-back wins for Whitehead. He's going to extend that championship lead Sador has still got quite a few corners to go here before he crosses the line. Looks like Hutchinson and Hillhorse still separated by a second. And Dressel and Purcell only separated by half a second here. I think if Dressel wants to get this move done, he's going to have something magical happen, but doesn't look like he's going to be able to do anything. In fact, he's late on the brakes there, but no, he's a bit too wide there. Out of Crocodile, and doesn't look like he's going to be able to gain that position. But here we go, Sador rounding the final corner, is going to cross the line in P2. You can see there in the background that battle going on there. But Sador crossing the line in P2. Muller's going to round the final corner there to finish in P3. Another podium for Muller. Hutchinson not far behind either. He's going to hold on to P4, and Hillhorse is going to finish in P5. They're just a second behind Hutchinson. And Curtin, well, I think his best finish of the season yet as well, is going to cross the line in P6 there for Curtin in a car. Well, in a car we don't really see him in often, usually in the Aston Martin. Brommel going to cross the line in P7, Mavic in P8. Barth is going to cross the line in P9, just holding off there against Faulkner. There we go. That is the race over. I mean, what a race we had here at the SimZone for round 4 of the Next Level Racing GT3 Championship. Now we are going to try and get some interviews with the top 3, so we'll be back in just a moment. Make sure to stay with us. So here we go then. We'll see if we can get some interviews with some of the drivers at the end of that race. Looks like we've got Luke. We'll bring over in just a second, but some great racing there. And we've got quickly read the comments before we get these interviews done. Manuel Novak saying great commentary, thanks. Appreciate that. Lapria as well, appreciate that. Barth, Jan in the comments saying P9. Yeah, Jan, join the interview waiting room. We'll get some more drivers in as well. Yep, we'll definitely get some more drivers for an interview as well. But here we go. Looks like we've got Luke once again. Another win from you, and I mean, it was a pretty dominant performance. I don't think I've ever seen anyone with, well, in a 1 hour race have a 50-second gap to P2. Pretty much a Sunday drive for you towards the end, but how are you feeling after that one?
Yeah, I'm shocked at that gap, to be honest. I didn't really feel like I was pushing that hard, but yeah, it seemed that the rain widened the gaps as I kind of predicted. But yeah, I felt really comfortable with the car. Everything felt perfect, and despite a couple of near misses with the back markers, it was pretty plain sailing. So I am, yeah, pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, the Porsche's a really good car, Kyalami, and you proved it as well this race. I mean, Sidor was in P2, but I mean, just wasn't able to keep up in the end. But yeah, looking towards next round is Suzuka, another good track for the Porsche as well. So yeah, how are you feeling about that?
Yeah, not as strong, not as confident as I was coming here, but still relatively confident, I think. I mean, I would say that if there was a Merc racing, they'd win, because the Merc is outrageously quick as Suzuka, but I don't think there are any, fortunately. So yeah, fingers crossed it should be as strong as I was today, but obviously, as I said, you never know who turns up, and obviously, Manufri have turned up, and the Aston's pretty good around there, so if he turns up next week, if Dalkin turns up next week, then they'll obviously be pretty decent as well, so we'll see what happens, but I'm obviously going to be pushing as hard as I can, like I was this week.
Yeah, we hope you bring your A game once again, but congratulations on the win, and we hope to see you next time.
Thank you very much. Take care of yourself. See you in a week's time.
Yep, you too. Take care. There we go. That was Luke Whitehead. Won the race once again here at Kyalami. We'll bring over Barth. Jan, hello.
Good evening, everybody.
How are you doing? I think that was a great race from you.
Oh, that was mental.
P9, top 10 finish amongst this grid is very, very impressive. So yeah, how are you feeling?
Exhausted, to be honest, because I think I've driven behind the Audi from Matt Pryor for ages, and then Mamad also came into this battle, and that was just amazing, drive. Everybody let it was hard driving, but everybody let each other room, at least at my car. So yeah, good finish, and especially in the rain, because rain is also more a challenge than in the dry, at least for me.
Yeah, and Curtin as well, finishing in P6.
Yeah, he did great. I think he's even faster with the Porsche and with the Aston, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, looks like it. I mean, you don't. That's probably his best finish of the season across all championships, I think. P6, so maybe he might be thinking about the Aston. I mean, the Porsche permanently.
Yeah, the car won't be happy, but yeah, we will see. No, I think we'll both stick. At least myself stick with the Porsche and drive with Carl's team with the Aston, so it's good. Little bit diversity for driving different cars. So yeah, feeling good with both cars.
Yeah. Well, once again, congrats on the result. And
thank you.
Suzuka being the next round in the Porsche is a good track for the Porsche. So yeah, tell us how you're well, if you're confident or not going into the next round.
Suzuka isn't my best track, but yeah, if it will rain, so everything can happen. So yeah.
Yeah.
Just try my best.
In fact, let me have a quick look at the weather for Suzuka. It is, yeah, it's going to be dry.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would be more happy when it's rain. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, unless you do the rain dance, right now the weather instantly changes, and then I think it's going to rain. Otherwise not. But yeah, congrats on the result once again, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you next week. Well, we'll see you tomorrow. Probably.
Exactly. For one time more Monza with wing 10, 12 maybe.
We'll just have to see. But yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, and congrats on the result.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, everyone.
There we go. That was Jan Barth. The wall, as Tom Curtin says there in the comments. Last interview looks like we have Sidor. So here we go. Let's move him over. Hello, Sidor. Finishing in P2 in that race. We saw you made a mistake that dropped you down. Well, we didn't exactly see it, but you talk us through what happened there.
Hello everyone. First of all, I want to thank my mom. She was watching for the first time.
Oh, wow.
Dzięki, że byłaś ze mną. And about the incident in pits, you talk about the pits.
I'm not sure. Where did you lose the position to Muller?
To Muller, I spun on, I believe, turn 4.
Ah. Yeah,
Like a little bit on the grass, and I went straight into the wall.
Yeah, but you ended up getting that position back. We saw the move into turn 1. It was quite a brave move to go for, but you made it work. And yeah, I think it was quite a good move from you, to be honest.
Yeah, I've seen he's going a little bit wide, and that was my chance.
Yeah, I mean, you made it stick, you made it work, and managed to get P2 in the end. So yeah, gaining on Muller in the championship, I believe. You're only 3 points behind him at the moment. I think you might overtake him after that finish, but it's going to be very close with the drop rounds as well so far. But looking to next round, I've asked this for every driver that we've interviewed already. It is Suzuka. So yeah, how are you feeling about going into next round?
Suzuka isn't my best track, but I believe I can put enough practice to at least get top 3 maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the Porsche's a pretty good car at Suzuka as well. Yeah, there's plenty of time to practice, I hope. But yeah, we hope for another good result from you, and once again, great racing today.
Thank you very much, and see you tomorrow.
Yeah. But oops, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was round 4 here at Kyalami for the Next Level Racing GT3 Championship. We'll be live tomorrow once again. What do we have tomorrow? It is the IMB Raceway GT3 Championship. Like Jan said, we are at Monza once again. So we shall see you then, same time as today, 8 PM GMT. Make sure to tune in then. But from us, it's good night and take care.